I still don't get why you're so nervous, Lila laughed as she zipped her suitcase. It's just a girl's trip. Sun, cocktails, bad dancing. Nothing you need to stress about. You'll be gone for 2 weeks, I said, leaning against the doorframe. That's long enough for something to go wrong. Wrong? Like what? You think I'm gonna get kidnapped by some bartender? I forced a smile. I don't know. Just, don't forget about me while you're out there. She rolled her eyes and came over to kiss me. I won't forget. Promise. I'll text every night. Happy? At the time, I said yes. At the time, I believed her. The first crack came halfway through her trip. She called one night, giggling, her voice slurred. Babe, don't be mad, okay? Something happened. My chest tightened. What do you mean, something? Just kissing. I was drunk, stupid. It didn't mean anything. I sat there, phone in my hand, silent. Say something, she whispered. Kissing? My voice sounded hollow. Yeah. Just that. I swear. I'm telling you because I love you. Most people wouldn't even admit it. You're with your friends right now, aren't you? They're here, yeah. She lowered her voice. Don't hate me. Please. It was a mistake. It won't happen again. I wanted to hang up. I wanted to scream. But instead I whispered, okay. Okay? I'll figure out what I feel in the morning. When she got back, the first thing I noticed was the hickey. What's that? I asked, pointing at her neck. Oh, this? One of the girls did it as a joke. Drunk nonsense. Really? You expect me to believe your friend gave you a hickey? She groaned. Do you want me to lie? Do you want me to say it was him? Because it wasn't. It's nothing. I stared at her, at the faint purple mark that mocked me. She reached for my hand. I told you the truth already. Just kissing. I swear. You swear? Yes. Please, can we move on? Her voice cracked, and against my better judgment, I nodded. But doubt didn't leave. It sat in me like a thorn. I started asking her friends casual questions. So, I said one night to Maya, one of her travel friends, how wild was the trip? Maya laughed. Wild enough. Lila couldn't stop dancing. She was a star. Yeah. Nothing crazy happened. She shrugged. Same old. Drinks, music, stupid selfies. Too easy. Too rehearsed. Another time, I asked her other friend, Jess. Did Lila really only kiss him? Jess froze for half a second, then smiled. Of course. She told you already, didn't she? The way she avoided my eyes said more than her words. One night, I pulled Lila aside. Tell me again what happened, I said. Her eyes narrowed. Why are you bringing this up again? Because it doesn't make sense. You don't just kiss a guy and walk away with hickeys. I told you everything. You don't trust me, do you? I want to, but... She cut me off. Then trust me. Stop digging. Please. Her voice broke, and I saw the tears forming. If you can't forgive me, just say it. Don't torture me by asking the same questions. I fell silent, guilty for making her cry. Weeks later, while scrolling through my Google Photos backup, I found it. A screenshot. Her snap to me, there's cum on my bed. My stomach dropped. I stared at it for what felt like hours. My hands shook. The air around me felt heavy. I didn't tell her I found it. I didn't tell anyone. I just buried it inside me. That night at dinner, she smiled across the table. You're quiet. Everything okay? Yeah, I lied, forcing a bite of food. You sure? Positive. She reached across the table and squeezed my hand. I'm glad you stayed. I thought I'd lost you. I smiled back, but inside, I wasn't sure what I'd chosen, forgiveness, or blindness. I lay awake later, staring at the ceiling. Did I waste 4 years of my life? Was I too weak to walk away? Her words echoed, just kissing. My gut screamed otherwise. I turned over, closed my eyes, and whispered to myself, stay. Just stay. Not because I believed her. But because love, even broken, still felt heavier than doubt. For now. Why are you staring at me like that? Lila asked, sliding onto the couch beside me. I wasn't staring, I said quickly. Just thinking. Thinking about what? Nothing important. She leaned closer, resting her head on my shoulder. You're so weird sometimes. You can tell me, you know. I smiled faintly, but my chest felt tight. I couldn't say it. I couldn't tell her that every silence between us sounded like a lie. The weeks after her trip were quiet. Too quiet. We fell back into routines, late-night dinners, Netflix shows, lazy Sundays. On the surface, nothing had changed. But beneath it all, I carried a knot of suspicion. Every ping from her phone pulled my attention. Every late reply fed my doubts. One night, I asked, "Who's texting you this late?" She held up her phone. Jess. She's ranting about her job again. Want me to read it to you? No, it's fine. You don't believe me, do you? I forced a laugh. I said it's fine. She sighed and tossed her phone aside. You're impossible sometimes. Impossible? Yes. You ask, I answer, and then you look at me like I'm lying. What else do you want? I bit my tongue. I wanted proof, not answers. At dinner with friends, I slipped questions into casual conversation. So, I asked Maya, you guys really drank a lot over there? She grinned. Oh yeah. We were wasted half the time. Lila told me she remembered everything clearly, though. Maya hesitated. Well, maybe not everything. But she handled it better than us. Stronger tolerance. Her words scratched at me. Later, I cornered Jess outside the bar. Hey, can I ask you something? She frowned. What now? That night. The guy. Was it really just kissing? She glanced away. Why are you dragging this up again? Because I need the truth. You already have it. Let it go. Her quick exit told me everything, or nothing. I couldn't tell which. Back home, I tried to push it aside. Lila curled against me on the bed. You've been distant, she whispered. I'm just tired. No. It's more than that. You don't look at me the same anymore. I swallowed hard. What do you want me to say? Say you forgive me. Say you still trust me. I stayed silent. She gripped my hand. I messed up. But I chose you. I came back to you. Doesn't that count for anything? Her voice shook, and for a moment, I believed her. I wanted to. But then the screenshot returned. Scrolling through my backed-up photos one night, I found it again, her snap, the words glowing like a curse, "There's cum on my bed." I stared until the letters blurred. My mind screamed, she lied. But my heart whispered, ask her. Give her the chance. I didn't. I closed the phone, shoved it under my pillow, and lay awake in the dark. The next morning at breakfast, she laughed at some stupid video on her phone. What's so funny? I asked. She turned the screen toward me. A cat pushing a baby into a ball pit. Look. I forced a smile, my stomach churning. Why aren't you laughing? She asked. Just not in the mood. You're never in the mood anymore. Her tone was sharp. I flinched. Sorry, I muttered. She sighed, putting her phone down. I don't know how to fix this if you won't talk to me. I wanted to yell, tell me the truth. Tell me everything. Instead, I whispered, we'll be fine. Days blurred together, but my suspicion sharpened. Every time she smiled at her phone, I thought of him. Every time she touched me, I imagined his hands on her. It poisoned everything. One night, lying in bed, I asked, did you ever think about what that did to me? She turned, surprised. What do you mean? The kiss. The trip. All of it. Do you know what it's like, picturing it every day? Her eyes softened. I told you it was a mistake. I told you I was sorry. But do you know what it feels like for me? She reached out, touching my cheek. I know you hurt. And I hate that I caused it. But I can't change it. I can only love you better now. Her words pierced me. For a second, I wanted to believe. Still, paranoia crept in. I started checking her Instagram stories at night, looking for hints. I watched her friends' posts, searching for inconsistencies. A laugh here, a blurry background there, anything could be a clue. Once, I even drafted a message to the guy himself. My thumb hovered over send. Did you sleep with her? Tell me the truth. I deleted it. If he denied it, would I believe him? If he admitted it, would I survive it? One evening, over dinner, I blurted, "Do you remember everything about that night?" Her fork froze mid-air. Why are we back on this? Because it doesn't add up. You said you only kissed him, but... I'm not doing this again, she snapped. I told you the truth. If you can't accept it, then maybe you don't want this relationship. The silence afterward was brutal. I do want it, I said finally. Then stop questioning me. Her eyes shone with anger, or maybe fear. I couldn't tell anymore. That night, she fell asleep beside me. I watched her breathe, steady and calm. I whispered to myself, if I show her the screenshot, it's over. The thought terrified me. So I didn't. I buried it deeper, let it rot inside me, and told myself that silence was safer than truth. The seed of doubt had taken root, and no matter how much I tried to cover it, I felt it growing. Every smile from her was a mask. Every kiss carried a question. Every touch left me wondering if I was the only one. I lay awake again, staring at the ceiling, whispering into the dark, not yet. I won't confront her. Not yet. But the words felt hollow. Because I already knew, I was only delaying the inevitable. I need to ask you something, I said, my voice shaking more than I wanted. Lila set her mug down. What now? That night. The apartment. Did you go inside? She blinked. What are you talking about? Don't play dumb. His place. You were there. Her lips tightened. I wasn't. I only stopped by to use the bathroom. That's all. Just the bathroom? Yes. I stared at her, searching her face for cracks. Why didn't you tell me before? Because I knew you'd twist it. Look, it was nothing. Nothing? My chest burned. You went into his apartment and didn't think I deserved to know? It wasn't like that. I was drunk, I needed to pee, and that was it. Her calm tone felt like warm water poured over a lit match. My certainty hissed, smothered. I pressed harder. Did you sit down? Did you talk? Did you? She cut me off. Stop. You're building stories in your head again. Because you keep giving me reasons to. She shook her head slowly. I love you. Isn't that enough? I wanted to scream that it wasn't. Instead, I whispered, why should I believe you? Because I'm here. I chose you. If there was more, I wouldn't be sitting here right now. Her words twisted inside me. They sounded so plausible, so steady, that doubt began eating my own anger. I leaned back, exhausted. You're lying. No, she said softly, you're scared. And I can't fix that unless you let me. The room fell quiet. The fight drained from me, leaving only silence between us. Later that night, in bed, I couldn't sleep. I watched her chest rise and fall. I stared at her neck, hunting for shadows, marks, anything. There was nothing. She shifted in her sleep, whispering something I couldn't make out. I almost shook her awake to demand the truth again. Instead, I just lay there, fists clenched under the blanket. The next morning, I tried again. Tell me the truth, I said. I already did. You expect me to believe you walked into his apartment, used the bathroom, and walked out? Yes. No pause? No touching? No, I swallowed. No bed? She slammed her spoon down. You think I'm that reckless? That cruel? Then why didn't you tell me sooner? Because you'd do exactly this. Accuse, accuse, accuse. You're pushing me away. I'm not pushing you. You're hiding from me. I'm not hiding. You just don't want to see the truth. Her words cut deeper than shouting ever could. When I told my best friend, he sighed. Man, you've got to stop digging. If she says it's nothing, maybe it is. You don't understand. She lies too easily. Or maybe you don't trust anyone. That's the real problem. Wouldn't you question it? He hesitated. Yeah, maybe. But I'd either leave or move on. Living in between is hell. I knew he was right. But I couldn't leave. At dinner with my family, my mother leaned close. Are you two okay? You look distant. We're fine, I lied. My sister raised an eyebrow. Doesn't sound like it. We're working on things. My mother's hand covered mine. Don't lose yourself trying to save something broken. I nodded, but inside I thought, what if it's not broken? What if I'm just paranoid? Back home, Lila touched my arm gently. They think I'm hurting you, don't they? They're just worried. You let them believe I'm the villain. I didn't say that. You didn't deny it either. Her eyes shimmered, and guilt sank into me. I don't want them against you, I muttered. Then stop doubting me, she whispered. Choose me fully, or don't choose me at all. I had no answer. At night, the rituals kept me sane. I checked her phone when she showered, though I never found anything. I memorized her work hours, counted the gaps. I watched her sleep, searching for evidence in her breathing. Each act kept me from exploding, but each one poisoned me further. One evening, I blurted out, I hate feeling like this. She turned, startled. Like what? Like I'm crazy. Like I'm losing my mind. You're not crazy, she said softly. You're hurt. And I keep telling you, I didn't do what you think. Then why can't I believe you? Because you don't want to. Because it's easier to cling to suspicion than to accept forgiveness. Her words wrapped around me like chains. I tried to remember the good nights, when she laughed so hard she cried, when she kissed me without hesitation, when we fell asleep tangled together. Those memories softened my chest, made me believe maybe, just maybe, I was wrong. But the screenshot, the silences, the bathroom story, they gnawed. My friend called again. Have you decided? Decided what? Whether you're staying or leaving. I'm staying. Even though you don't believe her? Because I want to. He exhaled. That's not belief. That's resignation. I know. That night, lying beside Lila, I whispered into the dark, I'm still here. She stirred, half asleep. Good. I closed my eyes, my throat heavy. It wasn't really a choice anymore. I stayed not out of trust, but out of fear of what leaving would mean. And as her breathing deepened, I realized I was surrendering piece by piece, slowly, quietly, until nothing of me would remain. It happened by accident. I was scrolling through Google Photos, clearing storage, half asleep. Then I froze. A screenshot blinked at me, a snap backup I'd forgotten. White text over a messy blanket, there's cum on my bed. My throat closed. I whispered, no. No, no, no. The words echoed in my room, hollow and weak. That night I called Lila. Hey, she answered cheerfully, like nothing in the world was wrong. I found something, I said. Her tone shifted. What do you mean? A screenshot. From you. About your bed. Silence. You still there? I pushed. Yeah, she said quickly. What screenshot? Don't act like you don't know. Show me then. I don't need to show you. I read it. She breathed hard into the phone. It was a joke. Probably stupid. You know how me and the girls text. A joke? My voice cracked. That's what you're going with? Yes. I laughed bitterly. You expect me to believe you wrote that as a joke? Why wouldn't you? Because I know you. That's not a joke. That's a confession. Her voice sharpened. Stop twisting things. I'm not twisting. I'm reading what's in front of me. Then stop. You're losing it. Maybe I am, I whispered. I didn't sleep. The screenshot glowed in my head like a neon sign. I muttered to myself, it could mean anything. She could have been messing around. Maybe it wasn't even her bed. Maybe it was. But each excuse collapsed. I stared at the ceiling. If it wasn't sex, what else leaves that? No answer came. The next day, at college, I spotted him. Tom. He was leaning against a wall, laughing with his friends. My chest tightened. I imagined walking over, slamming him against the bricks, spitting the words, "What did you do in her bed?" Instead, I sat frozen on a bench. In my head, the scene played out anyway. Tell me the truth, I'd snarl. He'd smirk. Yeah, I fucked her. I'd punch him until my knuckles split. And when the cops came, I'd be the crazy boyfriend, the pathetic fool who lost everything. I whispered to myself, not worth it. Don't become that guy. But my body still trembled as if the fight had already happened. That night, Lila called again. You've been quiet all day, she said. Because I can't unsee it. You're letting a screenshot destroy us? It's not just a screenshot. It's proof. No, she said firmly. It's nothing. You're building monsters out of shadows. I laughed dryly. Then why does it feel so real? Because you want it to be. So you can justify this obsession. Obsession? I'm trying to survive. You're trying to kill what we have, she snapped. I'm trying to find the truth. Her voice dropped. Then maybe you should stop searching. Because if you keep digging, you'll bury us both. After she hung up, I sat in the dark, talking to myself like a madman. She says it's a joke. If it's a joke, why didn't she laugh when I brought it up? Why did her voice shake? No one answered. At 3 a.m., I whispered to my reflection in the bathroom mirror. Maybe it's true. Maybe they slept together. And maybe she'll never admit it. What then? Do I leave? Do I pretend forever? The reflection didn't blink. A week later, I cornered one of her friends. Hey, I said casually, remember that trip? Anything weird happen with Lila? She frowned. Weird? Like, guys, parties, whatever. She laughed nervously. Why are you asking me this again? Because I need to know. Then ask her. I did. She lies. Her smile faltered. I don't know what you want me to say. Say the truth, I whispered. But she just shook her head and walked off. That night, I lay awake beside Lila. She whispered, why are you so far away? I turned my back. Because I don't know who I'm sleeping next to. Her breath caught. That's cruel. No, I muttered. Cruel is what you did. She didn't reply. The screenshot followed me everywhere. In class, I'd hear a lecturer's words blur into, come on my bed. At work, typing emails, my mind repeated it like a chant. At night, I dreamed of it, the letters scrawled across walls, her voice whispering it into another man's ear. I woke up sweating. One night, in desperation, I called her again. Swear to me, I said. What now? She sighed. Swear that nothing happened in that bed. I swear. You swear on your life? Yes. You swear on mine? Yes. Her voice broke, and for a second, I almost believed her. But then I remembered the screenshot, and the doubt came rushing back. In the quiet hours, darker thoughts surfaced. What if I catfish her? What if I trick her into admitting it? What if I record her? What if I test her somehow? The fantasies scared me. I whispered, that's not who I am. That's not who I want to be. But the urge didn't fade. A friend noticed my silence and asked, are you okay? No, I said bluntly. What's wrong? Everything. I'm living with a lie I can't prove. He frowned. Then maybe the proof doesn't matter. Maybe the lie is enough. I shook my head. I can't live like that. Then what are you going to do? I don't know, I admitted. But I have to find out. Somehow. That night, I whispered into the dark, I'll get the truth. One way or another. But I won't become the monster I see in my head. Lila shifted beside me, half asleep, murmuring my name. I closed my eyes, the vow searing into me. I'll find out, I promised myself. But I'll do it without losing who I am. I started watching him. Not openly, not enough to get caught, just from benches, corridors, the library steps. Tom always had that swagger, laughing too loud, surrounded by people who seemed to orbit him. One afternoon, my friend noticed me staring. Dude, he muttered, don't do this. I'm not doing anything. You're doing plenty. You look like you're plotting murder. I smirked bitterly. I'm just, observing. Observing what? His face. The way he acts. If he looks guilty. My friend groaned. Guilty people don't walk around with a neon sign. You'll never see it on his face. Maybe I'll catch something. Or maybe you'll catch charges if you keep lurking. That night, I scrolled his social media. Posts of him at bars, arms around strangers, captions dripping with bravado. I whispered, cocky bastard. My fingers hovered over the message button. What happened that night with Lila? I typed it. Read it. Deleted it. Typed it again. Deleted it again. Finally, I tossed my phone across the bed. The next day, I cornered a mutual acquaintance. Hey, I said lightly, you were at school with Tom, right? Yeah. Why? Just curious. What's he like? She laughed. Annoying. Thinks he's God's gift. Why? No reason, I lied. She tilted her head. This about Lila? My chest tightened. What do you mean? I mean, people noticed stuff. But it's old news. Not to me. Her expression shifted. Look, I don't know details. Don't drag me into it. I'm not dragging you. I'm drowning. I just want one truth. She shook her head. Then ask her. Not me. That night, I drafted a long message to Lila. Tell me the truth. I know more than you think. Stop lying before this kills me. I read it back, heart racing. Then I deleted it. Instead, I texted, how was your day? She replied with a smile emoji. The urge for a lie detector grew. I googled prices, saw numbers I couldn't touch. I muttered to myself, if I had money, I'd strap her in right now. My friend laughed when I told him. Bro, you're insane. Those things don't even work. Better than her word, I snapped. He raised his hands. Or maybe worse. What if it says she's lying when she's not? What then? You gonna ruin her life over a machine? I just need clarity. Clarity doesn't come from wires. It comes from choice. I can't choose without truth. Then you'll never choose, he said flatly. One night, at a cafe, I almost did it. She was sipping her latte, scrolling her phone, smiling faintly at something on the screen. I blurted, who are you texting? She looked up. Just Emma. Why? I leaned forward. My pulse hammered. The words rose in my throat, were you texting Tom? Did you fuck him in that bed? But the waiter appeared with our food. The moment shattered. I sat back, silent, ashamed. She frowned. What's wrong with you lately? Nothing, I muttered. It's not nothing. You're cold. You're distant. Say it. I shook my head. Forget it. Don't shut me out. You shut me out first, I whispered. Her eyes narrowed, but she said nothing more. When we left, I replayed the scene in my head. I could have exposed her, ripped everything into daylight. But I'd faltered. On the walk home, my friend called. So? Did you talk to her? No. Why not? I froze. Good. Public isn't the place. You just humiliate both of you. Maybe humiliation is what she deserves. Or maybe it's what you'd regret. I clenched my jaw. I hate this. I hate myself. Then stop, he said firmly. Find smarter ways. Not louder ones. That night, staring at my ceiling, I argued with myself. You could tail Tom. See where he goes. Catch him in a lie. No. That's stalking. You could make a fake account. Bait him. No. That's pathetic. You could corner him. No. That's dangerous. I gripped my hair. So what then? What's left? In the dark, an idea came. Not fists, not threats, not screaming matches in cafes. But patience. Collection. Evidence. Screenshots. Questions dropped in the right places. Careful listening when drunk words slipped. Truth without blood. The next day, I told my friend. I'm not done, I said. He sighed. I figured. But I'm not going violent. No fights. No cops. Just, cunning. He raised an eyebrow. Cunning? Yeah. Watching, listening, piecing. I'll build the truth out of scraps. He studied me. That's still obsession. Better than rage. Barely. I'd rather rot slowly than burn everything overnight. He shook his head but didn't argue. That night, Lila leaned against me on the couch. You're quiet again, she murmured. I'm thinking. About us? Always. She smiled faintly. Then stop overthinking. Love me now, not in theories. I forced a smile back, but inside I whispered, I'll love you in truth, or not at all. When she fell asleep beside me, I opened my notes app and typed. Rules. 1. No violence. 2. No public scenes. 3. No threats. 4. Collect evidence quietly. 5. Preserve myself. I stared at the list, breathing slowly. This is how I'll survive, I whispered. Not as a monster. Not as a fool. But as someone who could face the truth, and still look in the mirror afterward. I remember the first crack wasn't loud. It came in whispers, sideways glances, careless words. Hey, Jordan said one afternoon, sliding into the cafeteria seat across from me, I think I saw Lila leave that party with Tom. Could be wrong, though. People were drunk. I froze. My fork hovered above cold pasta. You're sure? I asked, trying to sound casual. Not 100%. Just, looked like her. They left around midnight. I forced a laugh. Lila said she got an Uber. Yeah. He shrugged. Could have been. Forget I said anything. But I couldn't. I carried his words like broken glass in my chest. That night, when Lila came over, I stared at her hands as she unpacked groceries. You okay? She asked, brushing hair from her face. Fine. Tired. She pressed. No, you're weird tonight. Say it. Did you go home with Tom from that party? My voice cracked like I didn't mean it. Her eyes flashed. What? No. Why would you even? She caught herself, forced a laugh. I told you, I took an Uber. I swallowed. Someone thought they saw you. Someone thought. Right. You're listening to rumors now. I should have dropped it. Instead, I whispered, just wanted to hear you say it. Well, now you have. Happy? The silence stretched, thick and heavy. She slammed the orange juice on the counter harder than needed. A week later, I stumbled on another fragment, a photo from that same night, tagged by a friend of a friend. Lila in the background, cup in hand. Tom beside her. Her dress strap slipped down her shoulder, his head leaned close. I stared at it until my chest ached. When I showed it to her, I didn't accuse. Funny, huh? I said, trying for lightness. You're in the background here. She leaned over my shoulder. God, I look awful. Why are you even saving this? No reason, I muttered. Then delete it. Seriously, you're obsessing over shadows in photos now? I didn't delete it. I tucked it away, like every other piece of evidence I wasn't brave enough to use. Our conversations began to shift. Where were you last night? I asked one evening when she came in smelling of smoke. Out with friends. Which ones? She snapped, does it matter? It does to me. You don't trust me. That's the problem. I bit back the words. If I admitted I didn't, we'd break. If I pretended I did, I'd choke. Fights turned into small wars. You're late again. Because I was working. Till 2 in the morning? Do you want my timesheet? Jesus, you're suffocating me. I wanted to scream. Instead, I whispered, I just need honesty. She shot back, no, you need control. That word lodged itself in my head like a thorn. I tried to hold on to the good. Nights when she laughed in bed, curling against me, whispering about stupid TV shows. Afternoons we cooked pasta and she burned the garlic. Moments where it felt real again. But each one was followed by a shadow. A new silence. A slip of the tongue. A defensiveness too sharp to ignore. One night, lying beside her, I stared at the ceiling. Do you ever think about us? I whispered. She stirred. What about us? Whether we're good for each other. She sighed, turning her back to me. Go to sleep. I stayed awake, watching the outline of her body, wondering who else had watched her sleep. My friends noticed. You've lost weight, Mia said over coffee. You look worn out. Just stress. She leaned in. Everyone sees it, you know. The tension. Why are you still holding on? Because I love her, I said, hating how desperate it sounded. Love isn't supposed to look like this. I changed the subject, but her words dug deep. At home, my mom asked gently, is everything okay with you too? Yeah. Just normal stuff. Her eyes softened. Normal shouldn't break you like this. I laughed it off, but my throat ached. The worst came when another old message resurfaced, a screenshot forwarded by accident through a group chat cleanup. Tom's name. His words, you tasted like vodka last night. I stared at it until my hands shook. When Lila came over that evening, I couldn't speak. She noticed immediately. You're quiet. Yeah. What is it now? Nothing. She rolled her eyes. You've been like this for weeks. Either say it or stop punishing me with silence. I wanted to scream. I saw the messages, but the words stuck. I don't want to fight. Then stop picking fights. It wasn't fighting. It was drowning. I began to question myself more than her. Was I paranoid? Was I destroying what could have been saved? One night, I nearly exploded in public. We were at a friend's gathering, laughter all around, when Lila leaned close to whisper something to Tom across the table. My chest lit on fire. Don't, I hissed under my breath. She blinked. Don't what? Don't look at him like that. Her smile froze. Are you serious? I swallowed hard, realizing eyes were turning toward us. Forget it. No, say it. What's your problem? The room went quiet for a moment before conversation picked back up, awkward and forced. My face burned. Later, in the car, she exploded. You humiliated me. I saw the way you. You saw nothing. God, you're sick. You're obsessed with finding dirt on me. I gripped the steering wheel, knuckles white. I just want the truth. She spat back, no, you want me guilty. That night I broke. I searched her phone while she showered, hands shaking, guilt roaring in my chest. I didn't find much, just gaps, deleted threads, missing pieces. Enough to hurt, not enough to prove. When she came back, towel in hand, she saw the screen in my hand. Her face went pale. "What the hell are you doing?" My heart stopped. You're going through my phone. You don't trust me at all." I stammered, I needed answers. She shook her head, fury and something like heartbreak in her eyes. "No, you needed control. You're suffocating me. This isn't love." Her words cut deeper than any evidence ever could. I whispered, "Then why are we still here?" "Because you won't let go." She slammed the door on her way out. Alone, I sat with the silence. My chest hollowed. Every clue, every suspicion, every whispered doubt had led me here, not to truth, but to ashes. I wanted to believe I was still searching for answers. But maybe all I had been doing was unraveling both of us, thread by thread, until nothing remained. And yet, even as her words echoed, controlling, I knew I wasn't done. I still needed the truth, even if it killed whatever was left of us. Rumors spread like smoke, impossible to catch, impossible to ignore. I first heard it from Mia, her voice low across the library table. "You know Tom's been getting dragged, right?" I looked up. "Dragged?" "People saying he's been with half the department. Some girl told everyone he slept with her while still seeing his ex." I swallowed. "And people believe it?" "Believe? They're loving it. His reputation's wrecked. Professors side-eye him. Friends keep distance." She paused. "Why do you look like you already knew?" I forced a laugh. "I didn't. Just, interesting." But inside, my chest twisted. Karma, or something close to it. That night, I asked Lila casually. "You heard anything about Tom lately?" She froze mid-text. "Why?" "Just curious." "Curious about him, or curious about me?" I held her gaze. "Both." She rolled her eyes. "People talk. He's messy." "I told you, he's not important." "Not important to you?" She snapped, "God, why are you obsessed? Are you happy now that his name's ruined?" "That's sick." "I didn't start it," I said quietly. "But you feed it. You love this." Her accusation stung because part of it was true. Days later, I caught whispers even without asking. A friend of a friend at the bar leaned close. "You know Lila's not as perfect as she plays, right?" My stomach clenched. "What do you mean?" "She told everyone she never cheated, but people saw things. Heard things. Lies don't hold forever." I forced a smile, but my insides burned. Every word was another crack, another confirmation I didn't know how to hold. Meanwhile, my own circle began to fray. Jordan cornered me after class. "Look, man, I need to say this. You've turned into, different. You're always digging, always asking who saw what, who heard what. It's exhausting." "I'm just trying to know the truth." "Yeah, but at what cost? You're losing yourself. And us." His words hit harder than I expected. "So you'd rather I just ignore it?" "Sometimes peace matters more than proof." I wanted to scream that he didn't understand, that he hadn't seen the screenshots or lived with the doubts. But I only muttered, "Fine." Even my mom noticed. "You barely come home anymore," she said on the phone. "When you do, you're elsewhere." "Is it Lila?" "Yes," I admitted. Her voice softened. "You're breaking your own spirit chasing something that might already be lost." I closed my eyes. "So what do I do?" "Either forgive, or let go. But don't destroy yourself in between." I didn't answer. Forgiveness felt impossible. Letting go felt worse. College gossip spun out of control. One night, Mia sent me a screenshot, a group chat thread about me. "He's obsessed with her. He checks everything. He's controlling." I'd run if I were her. I stared at the screen, numb. The hunter had become the hunted. My name was as tainted as theirs. When I showed Lila, hoping for sympathy, she laughed bitterly. "See? Now you know how it feels. You ruined us both." "I was only trying to find the truth," she spat. All you found is loneliness. Her words echoed longer than I wanted to admit. Still, pieces kept falling into my lap. A friend admitted after drinks, I saw her leave Tom's flat once. She said she was just dropping notes off, but, he trailed. Another classmate said, she told me she didn't even know Tom well, but I swear I saw them at the cafe together. Each fragment fit into the puzzle I already knew, but the picture was uglier than I imagined. One evening, I confronted Lila again. Why did you lie about that cafe? She blinked. What cafe? You said you didn't know him well, but people saw you two together. Her tone turned icy. So now strangers dictate our relationship? Just tell me the truth. The truth? She slammed her glass down. The truth is you're paranoid. Nothing I say will fix that. I whispered, because you've already broken it. Her silence cut deeper than shouting. Inside, I wrestled with darker impulses. Did I want justice, or did I want her, and him, ruined the way I felt ruined? At night, I fantasized about posting the screenshots, letting the world see. About confronting Tom in front of everyone. About destroying their carefully curated lives. But then I'd imagine my mom's face. Jordan's disappointment. Mia's pity. And I'd whisper to myself in the dark, that's not who I want to be. One night, Lila came over unexpectedly. Your friends talk, she said flatly, standing by the door. What about? About you. About me. About how toxic this is. Even my family's hearing things. Do you know how humiliating that is? I swallowed. I didn't spread anything. You didn't have to. You snoop, you ask, you dig, and people see. They talk. I whispered, I just needed answers. She glared. At what cost? My mom asked me if I was cheating on you. Do you know how that feels? I stayed silent. Her voice cracked. I loved you. Maybe I still do. But you're turning love into punishment. Her words shook me. Was I punishing her? Or punishing myself? The next day, Jordan confronted me again. Are you gonna stop, or burn everything down? What would you do? I asked. He sighed. Walk away. With your dignity. Because right now, you're setting yourself on fire just to prove they're holding matches. I looked at him, broken. And if I can't? Then you'll collapse. The climax came with a choice. I had everything, the screenshots, the stories, the inconsistencies. Enough to destroy her, to expose him, to prove I wasn't insane. That night, sitting across from Lila, I nearly handed her phone back with the evidence pulled up. Do you want to see what I know? I asked. She looked tired, eyes red. No. I already know you don't trust me. That's worse than anything I could have done. Tears stung my eyes. Then what do I do? She whispered, you choose. Do you want to burn us all, or walk away before there's nothing left? I stared at her, the screenshots heavy in my pocket, my friend's warnings echoing in my head. Justice or collapse. The room was silent but for my breathing. And in that silence, I realized justice and revenge had become the same thing. I sat across from her, my hands gripping the chipped edge of the table, the kind of silence that could break glass hanging between us. I didn't want to start with fury. I didn't want to give her the satisfaction of claiming I was out of control. So I breathed, steady, and let the words slip out almost casually, though every syllable scraped my throat raw. I know more than you think. She flinched, just slightly, like the smallest ripple in a pond, but enough. What does that mean? She asked, her voice sharp but not strong, more like someone bracing for a blow they know is coming. It means, I said, leaning forward, that I've seen the pieces you thought wouldn't line up. Friends talking. Photos. Messages you didn't think I'd find. And maybe it's not all of it, maybe it's not the whole picture, but it's enough to make the truth impossible to bury. Her lips parted, then closed again. She shook her head once, too quickly, like someone swatting away a fly. You're twisting things. You've always had this way of seeing shadows where there aren't any. Shadows? I laughed, quiet, bitter. Lila, shadows don't take photos. Shadows don't tell stories at 2 in the morning. Shadows don't walk you out of parties while I sit at home thinking you're too drunk to drive. Her chair creaked as she shifted, arms folding across her chest, a defensive shell. So that's it, you've been spying, collecting gossip like it's evidence in some trial. Do you even hear yourself? Do you realize how insane that sounds? I realize, I said, that I wanted to trust you. That I gave you every chance to tell me yourself. But you didn't. And every day you didn't, the silence became louder than any denial you could ever give. Her eyes darted, searching for an escape route in the room, or maybe in her own mind. And what if I said you were wrong? Then I'd ask why your friend admitted seeing you leave with him. Why a photo shows you in the corner with him when you swore you weren't there. Why a message with his name on it resurfaced, not just friendly, but enough to sting like acid. Tell me, Lila, why would all that exist if there's nothing to hide? Her voice cracked, a brittle edge. Because I made mistakes. Because I wanted to forget nights I wasn't proud of. But it wasn't what you think. Then what was it? I pressed, the words coming harsher now. If it wasn't what I think, explain it. Make me believe that all this pain in my chest is some misunderstanding. Please, for once, tell me the version where I don't look like a fool. She lowered her gaze, her fingers digging into her arms. I don't remember all of it. Some nights blur. I was drinking, I was reckless. Maybe I kissed him, maybe it went further, I don't know. I don't want to know. Her confession was a knife twisted slowly. I wanted her to deny it cleanly, even if it was a lie, because uncertainty is worse than cruelty. You don't know? I whispered, the words heavy. You mean to tell me our love wasn't enough to keep you sober enough to remember? Her eyes shot up, watery now, desperate. Don't do that. Don't make it about worth. It wasn't about you not being enough. It was me, falling apart in ways I didn't even see until too late. I shook my head, bitter laughter escaping me. That's the thing. It's always too late, isn't it? Too late to be honest, too late to stop, too late to remember. Meanwhile I'm left piecing together half-truths, building a story where the ending is already written. I didn't want to hurt you, she said, her voice breaking like glass. But you did. My words were steady, almost calm. And then you kept on hurting me by letting me chase ghosts. Do you know what it feels like to beg for the truth while the person you love hands you silence? Her tears slid down her cheek, and for a moment I almost softened, almost reached across the table. But I stayed still, because pity wasn't what I came for. I came for honesty, even if it shattered both of us. Then my phone buzzed. I hesitated before flipping it over, but her eyes followed, tense. A message from him. Tom. The name burned. I opened it. His words were clipped, defensive, yet edged with a strange guilt. I crossed a line, it read. But not how you think. She wasn't chasing me. I wasn't chasing her. It just happened. I regret it. Don't hate her for what was mine to stop too. I shoved the phone across the table. Read it, I said. She did, and her hand trembled. He's lying, she whispered, but it sounded like a plea more than a claim. Maybe. Maybe not. But at least he's saying something. At least he's not pretending the night never existed. She slammed the phone down, her voice shaking. So that's what you want? You want me to sit here and list every stupid, shameful thing I've ever done until you're satisfied? You want me to bleed for you? I want you to stop hiding, I said. I want you to stop twisting it into me being paranoid or controlling. I want the truth, even if it ruins me. Because I can't keep living in this half-world where love feels like poison. For a long moment, silence stretched between us, only the sound of her uneven breathing filling it. Then she whispered, softer than I'd ever heard her, I kissed him. More than once. I told myself it didn't matter because it wasn't real, it wasn't love, it was just me trying to feel alive when I felt dead inside. But it was still a betrayal. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. My chest tightened, but there was no relief in her confession. Just the dull ache of inevitability. You could have told me, I murmured. I was afraid, she said. Afraid you'd leave. Afraid you'd see me as broken. Afraid you'd hate me. And now? I asked. She met my eyes finally, raw and unguarded. Now I see you already do. I didn't answer her right away. Hate wasn't the word. Hate would have been easier. Hate would have been clean, final, something I could wrap myself in like armor. What I felt was messier, grief tangled with love, betrayal threaded through longing. I looked at her face, streaked with tears, and all I could think was, this is the same face I once kissed like it was the only truth I believed in. No, I finally said, voice low. I don't hate you. I hate what you did. I hate the lies. I hate the silence. But you? No. Hate isn't what I feel. Her lips trembled. Then what do you feel? I almost laughed. Everything. Nothing. Like I'm standing in the wreckage of a house and someone's asking me to point at which broken beam hurts the most. I don't know. I just know I can't crawl back into pretending. She swallowed hard, hands gripping the table as if it might anchor her. So what happens now? What happens, I said, leaning back, staring at the cracks in the ceiling instead of her eyes, is I decide if I destroy everything or walk away with just the pieces I've already got. Because don't fool yourself, Lila, if I wanted, I could take this and burn every bridge you've ever stood on. Your family, your friends, his reputation, yours. One word from me and it all collapses. Her breath caught, and for a second I saw real fear in her eyes. Would you? I've thought about it, I admitted. I've fantasized about it, if I'm honest. Watching you both crumble, watching whispers turn to storms until you can't stand in the same room without shame choking the air. Part of me wants that. Part of me wants the justice, the revenge. Her voice cracked. Then why don't you? Because, I said, finally meeting her gaze, if I do, I become something worse than what you did. I become the executioner. And I don't want to live in that skin. The silence that followed was different than before. Not sharp, not defensive. Just heavy, like wet clothes clinging to skin. She whispered, I never meant for any of this. I know, I said. But intention doesn't undo impact. You may not have meant it, but I'm the one who still wakes up with questions clawing at me. I'm the one who wonders if every memory was painted over with lies. Her hand slid from the table, falling to her lap. She looked smaller somehow, folded in on herself. Do you want me to leave? I don't know what I want, I admitted. I want the version of us that doesn't exist anymore. I want the nights where I didn't question the sound of your phone buzzing. I want to believe that love was enough. But I can't rewind. So maybe what I want is impossible. She bit her lip, staring at me like she was waiting for a verdict she already feared. If I could take it back. You can't, I cut in, sharper than I meant. Then softer, you can't. That's the thing, Lila. This isn't something you fix with an apology or a promise. It's done. The crack is there. Even if we tried to patch it, we'd always see the fracture. Her shoulders shook, and for the first time I thought she might actually break apart in front of me. Then tell me what to do, she begged. Tell me how to make it right. I closed my eyes, the weight of her words pressing into me. There's nothing you can do. That's the worst part. The only choice left is mine, whether I keep holding onto this or let it go before it swallows me whole. She whispered, and which will you choose? I stood, slowly, like my legs carried more than just my body. I slipped the phone into my pocket, the silence stretching until even my heartbeat felt too loud. I don't know yet. But tonight? I walk away. Her eyes widened, but she didn't move to stop me. She just sat there, tears streaking her face, hands limp in her lap. I thought she might reach for me, one last desperate grab at what we used to be. But she didn't. Maybe she knew it wouldn't matter. As I reached the door, her voice broke behind me, soft and trembling, I loved you. I paused, my hand on the handle. I didn't turn. Maybe you did, I said. Maybe you still do. But love without truth isn't love I can live with. And then I walked out. The night air hit me, cool and unforgiving, and for the first time I felt the full weight of everything, not just her betrayal, but my own obsession, my need to peel back every layer until only bones were left. I had wanted answers, but what I held now wasn't closure. It was rubble. And maybe that was all I was ever going to get. I walked across campus, past the glowing windows of dorm rooms, past laughter spilling from groups I no longer felt part of. My phone buzzed again in my pocket. I didn't need to look to know it was him. Another version of events. Another attempt to shape the truth. But I didn't open it. Not tonight. Because tonight wasn't about him, or her. It was about me. And for once, I chose silence, not the silence of her lies, but the silence of stepping back before I burned us all to ash. I thought you'd feel lighter, my friend Mark said as we sat across from each other in the coffee shop. His eyes were tired, like he'd watched me drown for months and had finally seen me crawl out. You got what you wanted, truth. Isn't that enough? Truth doesn't taste the way I thought it would, I said, staring at the steam rising from my cup. It doesn't feel like victory. It just sits there. Heavy. Mark leaned back, arms crossed. So what now? You keep digging? Keep cutting at the wound? No, I said quietly. I think I'm done cutting. I don't have anything left to bleed. He looked at me for a long time before speaking again. Then maybe it's time you start healing instead of reopening it. I nodded but didn't say more. Healing sounded simple when it left his mouth, but to me, it felt like learning how to breathe all over again. Later that week, I sat across from my therapist for the first time. I'd resisted for months, convincing myself I could handle it on my own. But I couldn't. She tilted her head slightly, pen resting against her notebook. You've carried this betrayal for years. What do you want to do with it now? I don't know, I admitted. Part of me still wants her to suffer. Part of me wants to let go. I can't tell which part is real. Both are real, she said gently. But only one will move you forward. Which part feels heavier to hold? The anger, I whispered. It's eating me from the inside. I thought revenge would free me, but it's only chained me closer to her. Then maybe freedom isn't about what happens to her, she said. Maybe it's about what you choose for yourself. Her words echoed in me for days. I'd spent so long measuring justice by what Lila lost, by what Tom lost. But what had I gained? Nothing but shadows. One night, I sat in my room staring at the shoebox under my bed, the one stuffed with relics of our relationship. Photos, letters, movie stubs, little notes she'd left on my desk. And tucked at the bottom, the screenshot. The words I could never unread. I pulled it all out and spread it across the bed. My chest tightened as I touched each piece. The memories were double-edged, joy on one side, poison on the other. Why are you doing this to yourself? I muttered under my breath. The door creaked open. My sister peeked in, frowning when she saw the mess. You're torturing yourself again. I just want to understand, I said, though the words sounded hollow. You'll never understand, she said firmly, stepping inside. Not fully. People do stupid things. People lie. People betray. And you keep replaying it like the ending will change. I stared at her, throat dry. So what do I do instead? Choose to stop replaying it, she said. Choose yourself for once. Her bluntness stung, but I knew she was right. The next day, I texted Lila. I'm dropping your things off. That's all. She replied hours later. Okay. Just leave them with my mom if you don't want to see me. I hesitated, then wrote back. I'll see you. Just once more. When I arrived at her place, she opened the door slowly, as if bracing for a storm. Her eyes were softer than I remembered, her face pale. You didn't have to come yourself. I needed to, I said. I handed her the bag of things, the pieces of us that no longer belonged to me. She looked inside, her fingers brushing the old letters. I don't know what to say. Then don't, I said. My voice surprised me, it wasn't sharp, just tired. I don't need apologies anymore. I don't even need explanations. I just need this to end. Her lips trembled. I never wanted to hurt you like this. I know, I said. But you did. And we both have to live with that. For a moment, silence filled the space between us, heavy and unkind. Then she whispered, "Do you hate me?" I swallowed hard. No. That's the problem. Hate would be easier. She blinked fast, tears threatening. Then what do you feel? Sad, I admitted. Sad for what we had, for what we lost, for what we'll never get back. But I'm done trying to fix it. Her hand tightened on the bag. I wish I could undo it. I used to wish that too, I said. But wishing doesn't rebuild anything. It just keeps you chained. We stood there for another minute, neither of us moving. Then I stepped back. Goodbye, Lila. Goodbye, she whispered, and I could hear the finality in her tone. Walking away felt like stepping into cold air after being trapped in a burning room. Painful, but clean. That night, I lit a small fire in the backyard. I tossed in the screenshot, the photos, the notes. Each piece curled and blackened, releasing a faint trail of smoke. Mark called while I watched the flames. So, what did you do? Burned it all, I said simply. Even the screenshot? Especially the screenshot, I said. It wasn't proof. It was prison. He was quiet for a moment. Then he said, "I'm proud of you, man. You chose yourself." I hung up and sat by the fire until it died. For the first time in years, the silence around me felt less like a punishment and more like space to breathe. Over the next weeks, I leaned into therapy, into friends who didn't judge me, into small routines that reminded me I was alive. I started running again, feeling the air in my lungs. I laughed with my sister over dumb TV shows. I even met new people, cautiously, carefully. One night, over dinner, Mark asked, "Do you ever think you'll forgive her?" I thought about it, chewing slowly. I don't think forgiveness is about letting her back into my life. It's about not letting her control it anymore. So maybe, one day, I'll forgive. But not for her, for me. He nodded. Sounds like you're getting there. Yeah, I said softly. Step by step. And in those steps, I found something I never expected, not closure, not revenge, but a quiet strength. A choice to carry the scar without letting it define me. I deleted the last of her photos from my phone that night. Not out of spite, not out of anger. Just because they no longer belonged to my future. As I pressed delete, I whispered to myself, "I choose me." And for the first time, the words didn't feel like a lie.